It has been a sincere pleasure being the chair of the 2024 Madam Ambassador Program. We've done so much in such a little time, but it's been impactful. And I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, thank you to the parents, and more importantly, thank you to the diplomatic community and the girls. The girls, we are so grateful for their participation. This was really an amazing program, and we hope to reach even more girls next year. With that, I'd like to say thank you.
Hello, my name is Alexandra Maloney. I currently serve as the president of the International Association of Black Professionals in International Affairs. I'm also the founding chair of the Madam Ambassador International Exposure Program. It has been the honor of a lifetime to have this opportunity to reach back, to lift as we climb, and I encourage our full BPIA community to do the same. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ambassador Pamela Spratlin, and I am a retired Foreign Service Officer. I am thrilled to be here today at the BPIA Madam Ambassador event, which awarded a dozen or so delegates for their participation in this amazing program to expose people to foreign affairs and develop not just people, but tomorrow's diplomats, African-American young women who are inspired and excited about a possible career in international affairs. Why is Madam Ambassador important? I think it's important because some of the people here are already dreaming about being diplomats. Dreaming is important, but so is planning and so is doing. And so this program helps people get started with their imaginations where every great plan begins. So I'm thrilled to be here in my capacity, not only as a retired diplomat, foreign service officer, but also as chair of a couple of different nonprofit boards and a mentor to many, many people in other programs. So I'm thrilled to be here today, and my message to all of you is dream, plan, and do. Go out and serve. Make sure that you make the most of this one amazing life that we all know about. You have the basic ingredients. The seeds have been laid. The seeds have been planted here in the Madam Ambassador Program, and now the world is yours to take by storm, and I look forward to hearing about what all of you do. Thank you so much for your presence this afternoon and for the warm welcome you gave to me and for your belief in yourself and what's possible for the future. Thank you.
Bonjour. And hello. It's wonderful to see all of you. Yes, I am Pamela Spratlin. Very proud to have served as a Foreign Service Officer in the State Department for a full career. And I have to say, today I've had the most amazing experience. One of my great colleagues in the Bureau of South and Central Asian Affairs was our wonderful Director General, from whom you will hear a little bit later. But I also have had today an amazing small world experience, which I have to bring into this. And I just would like to ask Avril from the Arlington Lynx to come up and be with me, because we discovered that we knew each other today, that we knew each other 30 years ago. So it's been an amazing thing. Yes, as we were talking, April mentioned to me, we both worked in the California legislature many years ago, and she remembers. Well, I'll let you tell it. Good afternoon, everyone. I remember meeting her because I was one of the first Black people to work on revenue and taxation. She was one of the first Black people to work on budget. We interacted all the time, and she had said that she was going to take the Foreign Service exam. One day I came and was asking about it, and they said, oh, no, she's gone. She passed, and she is gone. And then I met her again today. It could only be Pamela, because she was a singular woman then and is a singular woman now.
Thank you so much. I'm good. What a pleasure. What a small world it is. I want to make my message a short one, but it's so wonderful, may I say, first of all, to see all of you here today. And I'd like to thank Alexandria for your role in really expanding what BPIA is all about
and bringing in a whole new generation of people who are thinking about international affairs. I had a chance to talk to some of you before we actually started our programs, and it's so exciting to think about what is possible for you in the road ahead. I will say I graduated from high school long ago, and my only prop that I brought today was just to say my first word for all of you is to dream. Dream, plan, and do. Decide what it is that you think is something that is really going to turn your life around or turn your life on, and pursue it. I found I'm in the process of purging now, and I found an award I received in 1972 from Bank of America for foreign language achievement. And it was just one little indicator that this was something I always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do it. I tried to get into the Peace Corps. That's a longer story I won't tell today. Didn't work out, probably for the better. And then I got distracted and went and did many other things, like worked for the California legislature. And finally, I decided, let me pursue my dream. I want to work in international affairs. And so I took the Foreign Service exam. I was lucky to pass it. And it was a long and tortured road to get there. But 3 years later, on January 2nd, 1990, I became a Foreign Service officer. And I had this amazing career. And there was this one point at which somebody told me to really, be realistic about what was possible in my career. And I decided to ignore that person. And I'm glad I did it. And so I had the opportunity to do all kinds of amazing things, including serve twice as U.S. ambassador, the president's representative overseas. My most exotic assignment, and the one I'm asked about frequently, was in Vladivostok, Russia, where I was the consul general for one of the largest consular districts in the world. That post is no longer even open. But it all happened because I was willing to pursue my dream, create a plan for it, and then implement it. And I think that's for all of you who are in high school and college and thinking about these careers: dream, plan, do. Check out what is possible online. Participate in as many programs as you can. Try new things, even if they don't work out. You want to learn a language? Go find a way to learn it. You want to go volunteer someplace? Do it. Yours is a generation that has so many fewer limits than existed when I was making decisions at your age. I remember when I was in high school, I was sitting in the library at my high school, and I thought to myself, if I just make $50,000 a year, I'll be happy. That's all I need to do. And, a little could I know that so much more was before me. But you have to have that vision, the word we've heard in reference to Alexandria Maloney. You need that vision for your own life first. And then, just like an airline, thing that's going to come down from the sky, put yours on first before other people. So make sure you put on your own dream first, plan it, and find a way to do it so that when you get to this part of your life and when you're enjoying some of the fruits, you'll be very satisfied about what you did. But the other thing I would like to say to you is also you want to love. So think very, very carefully. You're all women, young women. You need to think about what kind of family life you want to have. You need to think about whether you want to get married, whether you want to have children. Those are questions, no matter who you are, that you're going to have to think about. Many options are out there that didn't exist when I was making these decisions. Women having children on their own, women who are the main breadwinners of their families. It's just so very, very different. And you will have to work with the stereotypes in your head about what your life should be all about. But the main thing is to talk to lots of people, keep your eyes wide open, and try things. But that's a decision about your love life and who you want to be with. Definitely think about how that's going to work, how you're going to make that work with your career. Amazing things are possible. You can do more than one thing. And because people are having all kinds of careers now, I stayed primarily in one organization for most of my career. That may not be true for you. But think about how you want to integrate the love part of your life, people you want to be with, the children you may or may not want to have, the families that you want to be near, your own parents, siblings, cousins, and so on, and where you want them in your life. That needs to be a part of your decision-making too. Love, yes. give also. This is a wonderful organization. Some of you are mentors. Some of you are already giving back. When you get to a place of achievement in your life, remember that people helped you get there, and try to find a way to give back, to give as generously as you can of your time, of your talents, and to think about how you can help other people, because we don't have enough people who look like us at all. This is a wonderful place, Dake Warehouse. But as you walk around and look at the walls of Dake Warehouse, you will see almost nobody, you see anybody who looks like us. Over time, we hope to change that, and you are all part of that process. But it's going to take work and achievement, and it's also going to take the giving of your time. So love, give, and most of all, do you. You need to be sure that whatever it is that you're doing reflects your values, reflects your dreams and intentions, and only you can decide what that is all about. And be prepared to make mistakes. We all do. The main thing is not to worry about making, some mistakes you need to worry about making, as our former president is learning. But other mistakes are perfectly normal, and you can recover from them. But again, you still need, if you have a stumble, you need to dream, and you need to plan, and you need to do again. So that's just, I guess I would just add the word repeat to that. I do want to just thank a few people who were instrumental in my own career. I always like to hold up a picture of these two people, my parents, who were so important in giving me the idea that I could do anything. They are not here now, but I'm here, trying to live out some of the aspirations that they helped me develop. So remember your family. They're the ones who are always going to be there for you. I'd also like to thank Secretary Albright, because it was Madeleine Albright was working for her in the Nerve Center of the State Department when I was sent to Moscow in 1999. And the number 2 in the embassy after her very successful trip, and I'm proud, we'll explain in that. The number 2 in the embassy said, please consider an assignment in Moscow. I didn't speak any Russian. I had never been to Russia. Why did I consider it? Because I was a child of the Cold War, and I didn't know anything other than the propaganda that had been taught me over the years. And I thought, this is an opportunity. Let me see what I can do. I was also, again, going back to the foreign languages, I was ready for the challenge of learning Russian. And the Russian program at the State Department was excellent. I was happy to take advantage of that. I was able to achieve the score that I needed to achieve. And then all the rest of my overseas assignments after that were related to the Russian-speaking world. I'd also like to just give a shout out to Secretary Clinton. She also was extremely important in the development of my career. And what sits in my file is one of the nicest letters ever sent to me, was the one that she wrote after I completed my first ambassadorship in the Kyrgyz Republic. So think about the people who can play. Sometimes it's just a momentary role. Sometimes it's just a pat on the shoulder. But sometimes it's a major role, a boss you had or something like that. Think about those people and make sure that you recognize them and their roles in your life. I retired in 2019. I am now, and I went back to the department briefly and worked in 2021. You heard that I am now doing some community work in the international affairs arena as a board chair and as a board member. I also occasionally do speaking engagements. I have the... Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I want to thank the PIA for giving me this amazing opportunity to be able to come and speak to you. And I want to thank everybody that made this possible, because I know there's a lot of work, blood, and sweat that goes behind organizing such events. So I'm eternally grateful for that. So I want to say thank you, Madam Ambassador. Your story is truly inspiring. And I think I wish I had you as an advisor when I was growing up, because things you talked about, I never considered them,
before. So it's good that you're able to advise the young women here and anybody else that is aspiring to go into the arena of the international relations. Today, I'm going to talk to you about something that's a bit more personal. I'm from South Sudan, and I know that every story that you've heard about South Sudan has been told in the third party. It hasn't been told from our perspective. But more specifically, I want to talk on the perspective of a South Sudanese, a Black woman and a woman as it is. Now, all of you know that South Sudan is the newest country in the world. It's only about, I guess, 12 years. A little bit more. But I wanted to talk mostly on the role of women because our stories tend to be lost or are told by people who have sort of a savior's complex and not really looking at the resilience, the strength, and the courage that the women of South Sudan have played really into the birth of this new country. If anybody had told us 30 years ago, I'm here with my colleague Mayor Mordecai. If anybody had told us 30 years ago, we would be here on this world stage or the stage talking to you, I would never have believed it. Because we were busy walking on foot, avoiding bullets, dodging warplanes, and trying to just save our lives. That was 30 years ago. And I want to talk about how the women have really paved the road for us, especially myself and people and my colleague Mary and so many of the other women that are now playing a huge role in government. If our parents or our mothers, especially and grandmothers, didn't pave that road, we wouldn't be here. In America, you have iconic women that have shaped history. You have Harriet Tubman, who led the Underground Railroad. You have Shirley Chisholm, who really opened the roads for women and Black people into politics in America. And in South Sudan, we have Agir who was the first woman who worked in intelligence that helped in the first civil war in South Sudan. And they would carry messages and food for soldiers in baskets with babies in them. And they did all this counterintelligence work for the first soldiers. She also did the same in the second war in South Sudan. She passed away a few years ago. And you have Agnes Lokodu, who was the first woman diplomat who made it in the North as a female and paved the way for us. You also have Yana Ron Kachwa, who, like Shirley Chisholm, also paved the way for us to be in politics now. I also want to talk about my grandfather, who is, if you look back, not just long ago, but 40 years ago, people like my mother never had opportunities to go to school. My grandfather refused my mother to go to school. But what did my grandmother do? She had a taste of education in 1960, but because of the war, she was forced to abandon school, and she got married. So when my grandfather refused to allow my mother to go to school, she basically took my grandfather to court. It's how my mother got an education. Mary's mother, with her younger brother, who was an infant at that time, and her younger sister, walked from a place called Irul in the middle of South Sudan, all the way to Toin, because they were running away from the war. And they were able to reach Toin, and when Mary was too tired to actually walk anymore, they came across soldiers who were able to help to get them to where they were able to get a plane to go to the north. And I want to say that Mary and so many countless women that went to the north were living under very restricted rules. They made alcohol, which they sold, and it was illegal. Remember, Sudan was an Islamic country. Drinking alcohol is illegal. But this was their source of income, that they made alcohol, which they actually sold to northerners. and they were able to educate their children from those funds. And that's why Mary is here as a diplomat. The women that went to the north, like Egypt, they had to be domestic workers. And remember, these are women who are probably wives of members of parliament or women that were held high esteem, and yet they had to do this because this is what war does to you. And you had women like my mother in Kenya who used her voice and the little education that she got to come and testify here in the Senate on the cause of South Sudan, and even testify at the UN Security Council on the cause of South Sudan. She paved the way for us to have an education and to be able to come here. We've had a very long road to freedom, and we still face challenges. But yet, we are still at the forefront pushing for the betterment of our society and our community. And I want to say that without women, and especially the young women that are here that are aspiring to be something more than they are right now, take heart, because we have gone the really long roads. And we never had opportunities, but our mothers created those opportunities for us. You are in a better space because you've had people who have done that, but you still have a challenge. You still need to open the roads for the younger generation that are going to come. So right now in our embassy, we are 3 women. I'm the head. Mary is the one that comes after me, and there's a young lady. And I want to say that anything is possible. South Sudan has now, by law, 35% of women must be represented, because during the war, they actually were providing food to the soldiers. They provided not just sustenance, they healed, and they actually brought children and took care of children during the war, who are the generation now that are leading this country. So my hat's off to you women, and I want to say that you are all resilient, you are very strong, and you have it into you to be anything that you want to be. If you can think it, you can dream it, you can make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. We are so grateful for you. Thank you for those kind words and that inspiration. I hope this really touched the hearts of the girls and their families. We're now going to enter in the next phase of our ceremony, and this is the awards ceremony. And so we're going to acknowledge each young girl that is here with us today, that has been part of the program. May I invite the president for BPIA to stand in the front of the podium. And may we have the Links members please come to the front of the podium. And Morgan, can you please come to the podium? And then lastly, the volunteers for this award ceremony, can you also come to the front? The 2 volunteers. Right.
of you, but I am so in awe of BPIA, of all of you young delegates, of the members of the Link, the ambassador, my goodness, my dear colleague, Pamela, amazing. Madam President, Madam Chair, congratulations to BPIA and the Arlington Lynx on graduating this first cohort of the Madam Ambassador International Career Exposure Program. To all of you young ladies today, please, please, please count this as your start. You are now plugged in. You now join our network. You are now, even as you are still early in your educations, you are now part of a very special universe. We're not going to let you go. I hope that you've soaked up knowledge and gained insight into strengthening American alliances, championing human rights and democracy, and fostering global peace. I see me reflected in your eyes. I, like you, well, unlike you, but like my colleagues, did not know about this world when I was in school. Well, I grew up near an army base, and every 2 years, about a third of our my classmates rotated out of my little suburban New Jersey town to go maybe to Germany or Japan, or maybe they had come to those places. I so envied them to travel. They envied me, of course, growing up with the same group of friends the whole time. But I did not realize it at the time, but I caught the travel bug then. And my vision at the time was to become a teacher in the Department of Defense school system. I figured I could travel, I could get paid for it, and I could teach, which I loved, school. Well, so much for vision, I managed to graduate college at a time when they were laying off history teachers. What to do? And my lesson here is don't have a plan B, but don't be afraid to follow where the winds may take you. I applied to go to graduate school at Georgetown as I was graduating from Lafayette College, and I was turned down. But Procter & Gamble, which was very much looking for women and people of color to work in their manufacturing plant, offered a free dinner, recruitment dinner, and as a starving senior who could resist a free meal. That led to a 2-year stint as an entry-level manager, a foreman, if you will, at the manufacturing plant in Staten Island. So I began my career supervising the people who made Mr. Clean, Top Job, and an industrial hybrid of the two. I promise you that was nowhere in my vision. About halfway through that experience, sitting around on break one day, one of the women, and women only did the cleaning except to me in my department, said to no one in particular, "Do you realize everything we make goes down the drain?" And I said to myself, oh yeah, it's time to get back to school. Fortunately, Georgetown found me a lot more interesting the second time around with my Procter & Gamble experience. And it was there, studying in the School of Foreign Service, that I first learned about the Foreign Service. We have a bad habit. I don't know what it is. We are in some ways the best kept secret. People will ask me, outside of Washington usually, what do you do? And I'll say I work for the U.S. State Department. They seem to not hear the U.S. part, and they'll ask me, which state? And I say, all of them. By going on a summer internship, I learned what the Foreign Service was all about. I learned because, and I hope you all will become interns one day, that we have our interns do the work that our diplomats do. So for a summer, and it was a very consequential summer, it was after the rights riots in Liberia, but before the coup, Andrew Young brought a trade delegation to Liberia that summer. And little old we got to develop this schedule for that meeting. our first semi-permanent scientific experiment in space, Space Lab, fell that summer. It might have fallen on Liberia. Guess who they sent to the government to tell the government that news? The intern. Mayor Marion Barry had won his first re-election as mayor of Washington, D.C., and he toured West Africa that summer to talk about the democratic process. I got to do all that while still being a student. Came home that fall and said, sign me up. I've never looked back. And if I could start all over again, I would. Next month, I will celebrate my 44th year as a diplomat. I was, of course, 15 when I joined. You're doing that. When I joined the Foreign Service, there were few Madam Ambassadors. Certainly not Madam Ambassadors like you, but women of any color. We were among the pioneers. And Pamela, thank you so much for remembering. Pamela and I were pioneers in another sense. When the Bureau of South and Central Asia was formed, there were 6 offices. 3 of those 6 offices, and this was in the early 2000s, mid-2000s and aughts, 3 of those offices were headed by women, and 2 of those offices were headed by women of color. Of course, we weren't the pioneers, really. We stood on the shoulders of a few but very consequential people like Ruth Davis, like Terrence Hodman, like, Ed Perkins, so many others who generously showed us the way, both deliberately and certainly by example. You stand on our shoulders, and we are proud that you will follow us. So, fast forward, the State Department today looks very different, and that's by design. With all of the challenges that still face us, we aren't nearly as progressive as South Sudan in terms of the numbers of women that we have serving in the State Department, but I can tell you that we are working on it very deliberately. I've been blessed to serve twice as ambassador and now as the Director General of the Foreign Service, which is a very fancy way of saying head of all personnel for the State Department, and our 70,000 employees who are spread throughout the United States and the world. My Bureau's mission is ensuring that we're hiring the right people in the right place and at the right time. We are recruiting for diversity. And as I tell people, recruit for diversity, our net is cast ever wider. Today, whenever you've heard about the State Department and the Foreign Service being elite, I want you to keep one thought in mind. Now, remember, I'm a history major, so statistics are a challenge. But here's my favorite factoid of late. In the last 5 years, of all of our new entrants, there are more who come from 400 different colleges and universities throughout the 50 states and the territories of the United States. You are more likely to meet a new entrant graduated from a military service academy than you are someone who went to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton. No offense to those schools, but we want as diverse a service as possible. Why? Think about it. Our mission is boiled down is quite simple. We represent the United States and its people to the world. And we also have to understand what's going on in the world and report that back to our policymakers here so that we can, in the first instance, protect the United States and our prosperity. But I'm proud to tell you the State Department's mission statement and goal is also to recognize that we need to lift every country, to promote every country's well-being. Why? Simply put, when the rest of the world is doing well, we by definition are doing well. And I'm so proud of that mission. I also say that for all the work that we've done for the Terrence Hodmans, for the and Perkins of the world, it's hard for people to imagine our great diversity. I was at a reception in India once, and one of our local guests came up to me and said, "Where are you from?" I think I have a pretty distinct American accent, but I said, "Well, guess." And he said, "Africa." Not directly. Guess again. "The Caribbean." Oh, I said, "Oh, you're warm." And I don't, do you know that game? He said, "Yes." I said, "Guess again." He could not, I promise you, venture a third guess. I said, "Well, I'm from the United States and I'm here at the embassy." He said, "Oh, you don't look American." Fighting words, right? No, a learning moment. What I said to him was, and I promise you, I had not thought of this line, it just came up and out. I said, "You do. Who does not look American?" You. By the way, I blame Baywatch for that. Now you laugh. It's the most syndicated television show ever in the world, right? We export a lot of our culture, a lot of our movies, and somehow that Baywatch image is stuck. I say all this to say that our greatest comparative advantage, anyone who understands our history, and thank you so much for mentioning history and what isn't being taught, anyone who understands anything about the nation that we are today, and Madeleine Albright called us the essential nation, it's because of the contributions that wave after wave of immigrants from the entire world have brought to us, that we have integrated into our own culture, that we have changed our culture to accommodate. That is our superpower. It's not the military. It's not our economic power. Those are important on the world scene, of course. But what makes us who we are is our diversity. It is our greatest strength. And if we don't use that, if we don't take advantage of that comparative advantage in the world as the State Department, then we are failing the American people. So when we talk about diversity, it's not just about race and gender, though those things inform our worldview perhaps more than any other. But where did you grow up? Are you a first-generation college graduate? Are you a middle child? Do you have a disability? And what about your gender identity? All of that forms your worldview. The more we capture that, the smarter we are, the better and more compassionate our outcomes, especially our foreign policy, will be. So that's what I get to do every day. We still need young people like you, and I'm so proud. I want to cry when I walked into this room, space, for so many reasons. To see so many young people whose imaginations have already been sparked and their interests are already being cultivated. To see so many women, when Pamela and I can tell you how many times we're the only person in the group who look like us. We prevail. You can do it. But how much warmer, how much more comforting, how much more innervate is it to be in numbers? Then finally, you all look good. It is just unbelievable. Okay. It's wonderful to see us here in celebration. So, as I said, we need young people like you. The State Department is the first federal agency to offer only paid internships. We want you to come and check us out. And yes, of course, we want to check you out as well. I was an intern. It's what drew me into this business. Eyes wide open. I offer you the same opportunity. Please look for them. Take our Foreign Service exam. Now it's fully virtual. You can take it from anywhere in the world, or apply online for a civil service position. And I'll just hasten to add that while the State Department has the largest number of Foreign Service officers, we actually have 5 foreign affairs agencies, all of whom have members of our diplomatic corps. U.S. Agency for International Development. Excuse me. Colleagues in the room. Yet development is what inspires you. we have the Foreign Commercial Service, which is part of the Department of Commerce. If what you want to do is most actively promote business and trade, the Foreign Agricultural Service. They look primarily for farmers, by the way, but our agricultural trade is significant in the world. And then we have a foreign broadcast agency, the smallest of our foreign affairs agencies, who make sure that a variety of words, a variety of news and information reach people around the world. Whatever you choose to do, can I please implore you, make part of your life a life of public service. It is immensely rewarding because by definition, whatever you do in public service serves the larger issues, serves the larger lives of those around you and their welfare. And I promise you, it is a rich and, it's the word I want, it's an intentional way to live when you think every day about how you can be of service to someone else. By the way, and I'll end on this note, my parents had very mixed feelings when I joined the Foreign Service. They were proud. Whereas my father didn't even finish freshman year in high school. My mother was fired to go to college. There was no money. They met and raised their two daughters and their sons to build on the dreams that they could only imagine. Now, my father wanted a lawyer. None of us fulfilled his dream there, but they were very proud. But they were also very tormented by the fact that our close family was going to have this one member living and working overseas. I joined the service a while ago, before computers, before internet. And in Mali, my first tour in West Africa, there was not even regular phone service. You had to book a phone call. So I wrote 10, 15, 20, 30-page letters home describing every part of life. I arrived in April. By August, my parents' curiosity was so piqued that they said, we're coming for Thanksgiving and we're bringing a butterball. And they did. And I didn't think to bring the photo panel, but every office I've occupied since has shown my parents sitting among the village elders of my Bahara teacher, who coaxed them not just to his house, but then to the second wife's house in the village. And they sat among the elders, then presented them with a young sheep, a mouton in French. Incredibly luxurious guests, that they could see these very elderly African-American parents of mine who had come all that way. Village had adopted me, by the way. And I said to I leaned over to my father, I said, Daddy, this is incredible. This is such an honor. Don't worry, I'll tell them you can't keep them. My father, Brooklyn, he left Brooklyn about halfway through his life to live in New Jersey, but he'd asked him on his deathbed, where are you from? He would have said, Bedford Site. He said, you don't say anything. You translate. I'll talk. He gets up in front of the village, and he says, my wife and I are so honored to be here, and we're so proud to meet all of you. Now, he said, we traveled to Mali in a plane. He had the presence of mind. This man who had partied in Cuba, that's how old he was. I'm the child of older parents, but had never gone anywhere near Africa. Says, that's a big metal tube. And while it's a big tube, it isn't big enough to carry this mouton back. And so my wife and I, so honored by your gift, would like to give the mouton back to the village. Oh my goodness. You know what a ululation is? The whole village broke out. There was fury. They immediately slaughtered the mouton, sorry for any animal rights activists in the crowd, and had a barbecue. I looked at my father, my jaw dropped. He just looked back at me and said, where do you think you got it from? I owe those people so much. The closest I ever came paying them back was that day in that building, that time. So I want to ask you to remember that no matter where you are, no matter where you come from, no matter how big you dream, and what you do now and what you're going to do, you are going to make a positive difference in this world. Congratulations on your achievements so far. We'll be watching and we'll be there to help. Congratulations.
In halls where flags of nations fly, a vision sparked, ambitions high. Madam Ambassadors rise and lead, with wisdom, strength, and noble creed. From varied lands their voices blend, in unity their messages send. Bridging cultures, mending rifts, their leadership a world uplifts. BPIA is proud, a beacon bright. In global spheres they cast their light. International stages they grace, bringing honor to their space. So let us celebrate this time, their courage, eloquence, and climb. Madam Ambassadors, ever bold, a legacy of strength untold.
Hi, my name is Dexter Ingram. I was super excited to speak to the Madam Ambassador, young ladies at the State Department about counterterrorism. Your questions were amazing. You're so insightful. I hope my story spoke to you. What you're going to be doing is going to be nothing compared to that. Your story is about traveling around the world, meeting people, interacting with diplomats, and always lifting people up. Never forget that. Thank you for all you're doing, and congratulations.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcia Bernacat. I'm the Director General of the U.S. Foreign Service and the Director of Global Talent. So I manage the State Department's personnel systems and the over 70,000 employees that we have positioned all over the United States and around the world. I am so thrilled to be here today with the Madam Ambassador program. All of us older diplomats have been saying we wish we had had a program like this to let us know about the various careers and opportunities, especially that young African Americans can play in international relations. I want you all to really think through what your vision is and then make a plan B as well. Because even though you may be headed in a direction, I was heading to be a teacher, I ended up as a diplomat. Anything you can do in terms of public service to intentionally devote at least part of your life to helping others will be tremendous. I hope that you'll choose public service with the Department of State. Thank you.
My name is Obahima Mensah, and I'm a rising junior at the George Washington University studying political science and also minoring in international affairs. I'm a 2024 Madam Ambassador delegate, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, hello. My name is London McLeod, and I am the Vice President of Membership for BPIA. I am also a volunteer and etiquette coach for Madam Ambassador program. And I wanted to share today why the Madam Ambassador program is so important. I would say it's important to give back to the youth, to set an example of how and why international relations are important. As globalization continues to grow and continues to permeate each part of our lives in each area, it's important to learn and understand how we are connected. The most important thing about the Madam Ambassador program, actually, I love teaching the etiquette course. My main lesson to the young delegates are, you belong in every room you enter, and to let them know that they are worthy, no matter what the room is, no matter how big it is, how powerful, that they deserve to be there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ona Nelson, and I serve as the Secretary for the Board at BPIA and a mentor for the 2024 Madam Ambassadors Program. Please enjoy the string of interviews by distinguished professionals who have words of wisdom to share here today.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm Delegate Bachecki. Oh, this is my first year in the program, and what inspired me the most is all the amazing speakers and ambassadors who came to see me and tell me that I can do it, and it doesn't matter my skin color or how I look. The sky's my limit.
Hello, my name is Priya Rubio, and I'm a delegate here first year also.
This has been an amazing program to be a part of, and I really enjoyed the diversity with all these young women, all being able to be a part of these programs and be able to have the different experiences that not a lot of people have. And I thought that was very inspiring for all the young girls that I know in my family specifically have been watching, and it was amazing. Thank you so much. Hi, my name is Evangeline Phillips. Hi, my name is Niobe Reyes, and we're a part of the Madam Ambassador program from BPIA. So we're both delegates. Yeah. What inspired me most about the Madam Ambassador program is being able to see myself and other people and being around a bunch of other girls who are passionate about what I'm passionate about, and receiving career advice and just life advice from all these amazing women and girls. And just being able to learn from other people and talk to so many other people that I wouldn't have been able to talk to without this program. I joined this program to be a part of a greater community with women who look like me. And I joined this community to also be around women who also are at positions that I see myself in at life. I love the community. It's a sisterhood full of women who are just lifting each other up, like Miss Alexandria said. When you're in front of someone, lift them up with you, and I think that's really helpful. And this is why I'm here again for my second year at the BPIA for Madam Ambassadors, and I look forward to doing it next year as well.
Hello, is it on? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. What y'all said?
Okay. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Hadiza Joy Bambashe. I am with the British Embassy, Washington, D.C. I'm also a member of the British American Business Association and a new member of BPIA. I'm incredibly inspired by what I just saw with the Madam Ambassador program. Having grown up in a diplomatic home myself, I feel like this exposure at a very young age is so critical for the young ladies coming up to understand, build confidence, meet the right kinds of people, and also be inspired by the leadership here. It's been absolutely amazing working with BPIA. We've had a number of engagements with them at the British Embassy. Alexandria was recently on a panel for us, and of course we've got a event at the Ambassador's Residence, and we're looking forward to working with BPIA on that as well. So an incredible organization to be a part of, and I really hope this is seen as an opportunity for the young ladies that has been created through vision, sacrifice, ambition of the people that came before. So thank you so much for having me. It's a wonderful day, British summertime, and yes, all the best to the future coming up.
Hello, my name is Shauna Travis, and I am a member of the Arlington, Virginia chapter of the Links Incorporated, a partner with BPIA for the Madam Ambassador program. We are so grateful and honored to be able to partner with BPIA to sponsor this program, to offer amazing opportunities to young girls of African ancestry to learn about foreign affairs and prepare to serve in the foreign community. It means so much to travel outside of your own home space to learn the cultures of others. So with this experience, we all learned that we are more alike than we are different. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of this partnership. Hello, my name is Shawnice Underwood, and I am a BPIA Advisory Council member. In fact, I'm one of the founding vice chairs of the Diplomatic Council, and I am here today to participate in the Madam Ambassador program. I am so thrilled to be here today because I'm able to see so many dynamic women, leaders, young women brought together to discuss the foreign policy challenges for the day, but also to discuss the impact that BPIA has had on them individually. The Madam Ambassador program has just been so wonderful to be able to observe as I'm listening to young women from this region discuss, their issues, but also the fact that they are so happy to be a part of a program that is inspiring them to be leaders of the next generation. And the message that I have for them today is to continue to just focus on what's important, to continue to just reinstate your values in everything that you do. And also remember that we and BPIA have your back, and we are here to support, and we'll see you through the end of this program. And it's with that, I take great pleasure in leaving.
Okay.
Here we go. We'll give you the play that it is now and share why there is a house of 40 that what met on the hockey.
Very good. Okay, we ready? My name is Angong Dol Atril. I'm the Charge d'Affaires with the Embassy of the Republic of South Sudan. The Madame Ambassador program is very important because it inspires and exposes young women to international relations. As you all know, international relations is very important in bridging gaps and also building relationships. And this program is really good because it gives them courage and teaches them resilience and exposes them to what they are capable of.
Hello, my name is Morgan Mickle. I am the newly Assistant Secretary for BPIA. I've also been a mentor with the Madam Ambassador program in this 2024 year. It's been such an exciting program. We've had an amazing group of delegates, and I've loved the opportunity to be able to be a part of their growth and their learning and our growth as well, to learn about what opportunities are out there to exist in this international affairs space. And the opportunities are endless. And we want to communicate to our girls that the opportunities are endless as well. So it's just been a real pleasure to work with the program this year, and wishing all of the delegates best of luck in their future careers and their future endeavors.